Hello everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've stopped by my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do our fourth set of alternatives for the August 2025 paper pumpkin kit called Farmhouse Florals. And here are the 9 cards that you could have made had you made them as intended. But we're going to do something a little different, so let's dive right in. We're going to start with an easy one, because the second one I've got is a little harder. But we're going to start with easy tonight. So, we're going to start with a white card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're going to make sure and give this a good burnish so we know it lays flat. We've got an inside piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. And I've got a piece of the floral charm paper here that I'm going to use as the top layer. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and get that down. So we're going to put that right here, centered up. Looks good. Okay, so there's our first layer. Now our second layer is going to be part of one of the card bases. And I just kind of trimmed this down so that the typewriter was our focal piece here. So this is trimmed to 4 by 4. Well, not quite. It's 4 by 4 1/4. How about that? 4 by 4 1/4. So this is going to go here. And then I've got a piece that I cut from one of the envelope flaps. And this is just like a... Let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is about 5/8 by 4. And we're going to put that across the top here. So this is the same pattern. I don't know if you can see, but this pattern down here that's on the card base is the same pattern that was on the envelope. So if we put it like this, it looks like it's a complete piece of paper from top to bottom. So we're kind of do a little trick there. So let's go ahead and put this down. And we'll get this, I'm going to put this more toward the bottom of the card because we're going to save room to put our piece here at the top. Okay, now this, let's see, I'm trying to decide if I want to put this, I think I'm going to slide it right under here like this. Or maybe we should do it on top. Let's see, it's a little crooked, so I'm going to straighten it up if we're going to put it on top. So let me just get my trimmer here and let's see, one side is straight and the other one's just a little crooked. So let's just straighten this piece up if I can. These little pieces sometimes are hard to get to stay down because they're full of static cling. So let's just trim that just so we can just trim that up just a tad bit there. Okay, didn't take much, but it was enough to straighten it up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that down. I like it better on the top, I think, because then it really does look like it's one continuous piece. So we will put this down right on the top here so that I'm trying to make sure that the orange that I have at the top and the bottom is relatively the same amount so that it looks proportionate. There we go, just like that. Okay, so there's that. Now, before we get too far here, we need to do our stamping. We are going to use Timid Tiger ink, and if I can get it open here, we are going to stamp on the little piece here that's in the typewriter, and we are going to do, let's see, what does it say? It says, Forever Your Friend. And this was a stamp that was in the stamp set. One of them that came in the kit, so it was this one. Forever Your Friend. And then inside we're going to put, let's see, which one of these did I pick? This one. Thank you for your constant friendship and listening ear. So let's go ahead and ink up our little one here. Make sure I've got it right side up. I'm just going to ink this up, and we're just going to go right down here on this little piece of typewriter paper, or so it looks like anyway. There we go, Forever Your Friend. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side. We're going to kind of let that dry a minute before we go touching it too much. Let me get this inside sentiment put on our block. Okay, so make sure I've got this one right side up now. Make sure I've got it inked up well. Okay, I'm going to line my paper up with one of the lines on my glass mat so I at least start out straight. No promises that we'll end up straight, but at least we can say we started that way. Okay, not bad. All right, I'm going to put the ink away as I put my finger in it. Okay, so let me wipe my hand off here before we get Timid Tiger ink everywhere. Okay, so let me look at this. It looks like it's dry. Okay. We're going to take this piece now and put this on the inside of our card. And then we'll get some bling on the outside, and this one will be done. Told you this one was easy. Okay, so I've got some of these antique pearls that we're going to use on the outside. So let me find my take your pick tool. Oh, there it is, right in front of my eyes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's take a big one. Well, actually, that's not a big one. That's a medium-sized one, but that's okay. We'll do one of those and a little one, and then I'll take a big one, and we will put, where can we put the big one? I almost feel like I need to put it up here, maybe? Oops, there we go. Okay, so there's our first card. Very cute. Very easy. I like when the, the focal point that came with the card kit is doing all of our work. Not going to be the case on our second one. We're going to have to do some work on this one. And hopefully it'll be just cute and worth it when we're done. So, we are going to start with, again, card base of white. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to give this a good burnish here. Got a piece for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. And this actually was one of the card bases that came in the kit. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the card bases that were in the kit were just a slightly different shade of white than the basic white cardstock. So it is a little bit, I don't even know what to say. It's kind of like a browner hue, it's almost like, but whatever, we're going to go with it. So then I've got a couple pieces of the Peaceful Garden pattern paper. And we are going to, let's see, which way do we want this? I think we're going to put the darker at the bottom, just because the fact that it is darker, I feel like it needs to sit at the bottom because it's heavier, if that makes any sense. So let's go ahead and get these two pieces put onto our card base here. And then we're going to do some stamping. So we're going to put this piece, let's see if there's a direction to this. I think it goes this way. So we're going to put this one at the bottom. I'm going to put that all the way at the bottom of our card base. like that. And then we'll put this one. Let's see, I guess it goes this way. Make sure they're right side up. Put that one there. And then I've got a piece of Secret C, and this is 1/2 inch by 4 1/4, and we're going to put this across our center here to cover up, you know, where our two pattern pieces meet, so that we're kind of covering up the seam. So we're just going to put that right down here in the middle. Okay, so just like that. Now let's do our stamping. So I've got a piece, a circle that I cut from the Spotlight on Nature dies. You guys know I love this die set. Just love these circles. So I cut that, and we're going to stamp on the front of this, on our little circle here. We are going to stamp in Secret C. And we're going to do our little teapot here that was in the stamp set. But we're also going to do some of these flowers. So they're, you know what? Let's do this other flower. Hang on. This is probably going to be better. This was what I was trying to do to start with. So this particular bunch of flowers, you can see how it's like cut off at the bottom, so it's perfect to go inside the teapot, and you don't have to worry about the bottom of the stem on this other one. See how this is stick? You couldn't put that in the teapot because I'll show you when we go to stamp the teapot. It is, we'll do it first. You would think by looking at it that it stamps like solid, but it doesn't. It only stamps the outline of the teapot. So we couldn't exactly put this flower with the stem in it because it would show. So let's just put this one. I'm going to go kind of down toward the bottom. There. See how it's empty. So that's okay because we're going to color it in here in just a minute. Oh, hang on. We still need this. We're going to ink up our flower set here and stamp that right at the top. Now I haven't used this stamp yet, so I'm going to go ahead and condition it because I'm just going to get off that, if there's any, you know, film on it from the manufacturing process, you want to make sure you take that off so that it gives you a good crisp image. And I'm going to just take a scrap piece of paper here and just give it a try. See if we can get a good image. There we go. That looks good. Always good to try a sample before you stamp on your project. And that way, if it's not crisp, then you don't have to do it over. So now I'm going to do this right here at the top of the teapot. And that's good with this photopolymer stamp because you can kind of see where you're going with it. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, one more thing we got to do. We're going to do one more stamp because we're going to stamp the sentiment on the inside of our teapot there. But I want to color the teapot in first. So let's get these stamps out of the way. We're going to do the for a great friend is what it says. So we're going to put that on a block here. But before we stamp that, we're going to take our Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to use dark balmy blue. And I'm going to use the brush end. And I'm just going to run this around here pretty quickly. It's not a big image. It doesn't take long to color in. I try to stay inside the lines. Not always something I can accomplish, but hopefully tonight we can stay inside the lines. If I can't, by some stretch of the imagination, there is a way to fix it. But hopefully we won't have to go there. Okay, now I find that just short strokes give me the most control, if that makes sense. If I try to take too big of strokes, then it just ends up everywhere and I end up outside the lines, which is not what I want to do. Okay, so let's just get the middle done here. Okay, so there is our very cute teapot. Okay, so I'm going to put that away. Now, I'm going to take our sentiment again, and I'm going to do Secret C, because it'll show up within our little balmy blue teapot here. And I'm just going to put this right on the side. Right like that. And we've got For a Great Friend. Okay, perfect. And that's going to go on the center of our card, and we're going to pop that up on some dimensionals. And then we've got a piece of the ribbon. This came with the Peaceful Garden suite. And this is, what is this? This is Balmy, no, this is Midnight. What is this? Oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. What is this? The color is, oh, Misty Moonlight. I knew it was something Moonlight. Not Midnight Moonlight. How about Misty Moonlight? And silver. So we're going to put this on here in a second. I'm going to stamp on the inside of our card first. So on this card, we're going to do the other big long sentiment that was in here that says, good friends are hard to find. I'm so glad we found each other. So let me get this on a block. And we'll ink it up. And we'll line our cardstock up again. Now, let's see if we can. There we go. Perfect. Okay, put the ink away. And let's get our card finished here. So this wasn't really as bad as I thought it was going to be. Sometimes just the thought is daunting, but once you get into it, it's really not that bad. And in the grand scheme of things, it's just paper. You know, if you mess up, you can just start over. Okay, now we're going to put this on some dimensionals. So let me see if I can find some here. I've got some more on order, which is good because we are running short. I'm going to use the sides of this because, you know, we paid for it. Why not? Might as well use it all. So we'll just get some of this put around here. We'll peel these off. And we'll center this on the front of our card, like right, well, I'm going to center it over our Secret C piece here. That looks pretty good. And then we've got our little bow here. See if we can figure out where we want to put this. I just did an overhand knot, nothing too fancy. I think we'll put it down there. I'm going to put it on a mini glue dot. So let's see here. I think we've used all those. So let's find a... I'm going to just peel one of these off with my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm going to put it right here on the bow, or on our knot. And we're just going to put it right down there. And now I'm going to just trim this just a little bit so it's not, you know, hanging off the side of our card. And then we'll trim this one. There we go. Perfect. Okay. The last thing we need is some bling. And I've got some right here. we are going to use these low profile sparkle dots. And these ones here at the top are a secret C. So we're going to use these. Okay, this one doesn't want to play. It doesn't want to come off the page. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we'll forget that one. He doesn't want to play. Maybe I need some more putty out of the end of my take your pick tool. So let's twist this. If you just twist the end of this, the putty will come out. There we go. Boy, he did not want to play nice with us tonight. Okay, so we're going to do that one. And we'll do a little one here. Right here. And I'm going to do another little one because this is so busy on the front here. We don't want to overwhelm it. So I think that looks good right there. So, good deal. So here's our 2 cards that we made tonight. One nice and easy. One took a little bit more work, but wasn't hard. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and hit that bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video. And we will be back in a couple of days with our next paper pumpkin. I think I have 2 more sets for this kit, and then we can move on to September. And maybe I will get caught up one of these days. And in the meantime, make sure you come back tomorrow. We're going to do another Fun Fold Friday. So I will see you all then. Have a crafty evening. Bye.